happy holidays, guys, and welcome back to my channel. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully everybody is doing well. I am feeling festive. I got my Santa Claus hat on. I got a Christmas tree going. Let's talk about some Christmas movies. Now, I want to talk more specifically about some Christmas movies that I remember as a child growing up. Now, some of the ones that you might think are going to be on my list are not going to be on my list. You're not going to find a Jingle All the Way in here. You're not going to find the Santa Claus in here. I'm talking about movies that I remember watching as a kid from being really little all the way up to my preteen years. So the latest movies that you're going to see on this list is going to be from probably 92 because I was 12 years old. So anything after that, even though they might have became Christmas classics later, I'm going to exclude them and just talk about the stuff that I remember seeing just from really young up until about 12 years old. Some of these movies on this list are movies that, like, even if I just remember them being on at one point in the background around Christmas, or just scenes that I remember. Some of the movies I hadn't even seen the whole thing, but there were certain parts of the movie that just really stick in my mind, and I remember being on, or, while there was festivities and Christmas stuff going on, the TV'd be on in the background, and there'd be some stuff on, and I remember watching it, and most of the stuff I do remember sitting down and watching a lot when I was a kid. Now, most of the things on this list are going to be things that probably most people have heard of, but there is going to be a few things here and there that maybe you have heard of but forgotten about, and there might be some stuff on here that you just don't remember at all just because maybe you're too young or whatever. Most of it is physical media. There is about 4 things on this list that I do not have on physical media, for either I just don't have it, or it's out of print and it's too expensive. So I do have 4 movies that I have on the list that I don't own physically. So we're going to just go ahead and we're going to start with those. And the first one I'm going to start with is A Muppet Family Christmas. Now, I know most people are thinking, hey, if you're talking Muppets and Christmas movies, it's got to be The Muppet Christmas Carol. Yes, that is a fantastic movie. But before that one came out, there was one that came out in 1987. I believe the other one came out in 1989, somewhere around there. But Muppet Family Christmas, I believe, came out in 1987. And I do not own this one on physical media. It does have a release. Unfortunately, it is out of print, and it's going for a little bit more than I'm willing to spend for a DVD version of a Muppets Christmas special. That's only about 45 minutes long. And I will link it down below, there is a version on YouTube that is in fantastic, it's like fantastic quality. It looks good, it sounds good. Unfortunately, you have to watch a few commercials, but it's well worth it for the high quality that you get. And I'll link that down below, but The Muppet Family Christmas basically is about all of the Muppets, the whole gang, meeting up at Fonzie's mother's house. It's like this old farmhouse, and they all get together for Christmas. She doesn't think anybody's coming, so of course when they show up, she's on her way to Florida to spend Christmas in Florida. But unfortunately, that does not happen for her because Fonzie shows up with all of his friends, and you can just imagine what it's like. It's got this nice, cozy kind of feeling. Imagine any Muppet, every Muppet possible, even the gang from like Sesame Street, Fraggle Rock, all that kind of stuff is all in this small little farmhouse during a blizzard, I might add, and they're just together, and you can just imagine what kind of shenanigans they get in with this house full of these Muppets with very eccentric personalities. It makes for a really good time, and there's some songs, and it's really good. It's got that old-timey kind of just good as Clark Griswold would say, a good old-fashioned family Christmas vibe to it. And it's corny. I mean, for example, like when they first walk in the house, there's a slippery patch. Everybody that walks through the front door slips on it, and they milk that joke the entire episode. But that's why it's so great. So yeah, if you guys have never seen it, definitely check out Muppet Family Christmas. It is not as good as Muppet Christmas Carol. For my money, it doesn't get much better than that. But this one is well worth your time, especially for the fact that it's in good quality and it's going to be free on YouTube. So go check that one out. The next movie on this list is Yogi's First Christmas. Now, this one does actually have a DVD Warner Archive release, but unfortunately, I just I haven't pulled the trigger on it, and I really should, because I believe it's going for like only $9.99 right now. So I really should just get it. It's normally $20, but I watch it every year. I usually just rent it from Amazon. I don't know why. I should just buy it. But this one is basically about Yogi and what's his name? Boo Boo. I think it's Boo Boo. Are awakened by, I believe, some carolers during their hibernation, and they end up being awake. And it ends up being Yogi's first Christmas, and of course they get into some shenanigans. And Ranger Smith doesn't want Yogi there because he thinks he's gonna get into trouble. And there's all these different kinds of shenanigans, and the whole gang's there from Hanna-Barbera, from the whole Yogi crew, and it's a lot of fun. And I think the reason that I remember watching it a lot growing up, and I think the reason that I like it so much is because it takes place at a resort in the winter, and there's a resort, Breezy Point, that's here in Minnesota that I used to go to a lot as a kid during the winter, and I kind of gives me memories of kind of like that, and I think that's why this one had such a strong nostalgic feeling for me. But yeah, it's really good. If you like it and you like Yogi Bear, you've never seen it, definitely go check out Yogi's First Christmas. The next movie on this list is a movie that I have not actually seen in probably about 20 years. I don't know if it holds up, but it's one that I do remember coming out, and I do remember seeing in theaters, and I remember when it finally got a VHS release. I think it was like a year or so after it was out. I remember it was like the huge VHS tape to get that year. I remember, I think there might have been some issues with trying to get it too, if I recall, but I believe our family purchased it. But I'm talking about the movie Prancer. This movie came out in, I believe, 1989. Oh, and by the way, the Yogi's one we were just talking about, I believe, came out in 1980. But the next movie is Prancer, and I believe this one came out in its late 80s. I want to say 80, 88, maybe? 88, 89, somewhere around there. And basically, what Prancer is about is a young girl, I believe, I can't even remember if it's her dad. I think her dad almost hits this reindeer, which the girl ends up being convinced that it's Prancer. And of course, nobody in the town or her family believes her. And, you know, she has the Christmas spirit, and everybody, and it's just, I don't know. And everybody in the town, or at least her family, it's kind of a rough family, if I remember just a little bit. And they kind of, Christmas spirit is kind of all been but forgotten. And they basically have to try to, she's girl's trying to bring the Christmas spirit back and prove that this reindeer is Prancer. Now, it's a fun movie. I remember liking it when I was a kid, but like I said, I don't know if it holds up very well. I actually haven't watched it in 20 years or so, but that was one that I remember seeing, and I remember having on VHS, and I remember watching it quite a bit growing up, like then when it would be playing on TV and stuff like that. So it's probably one that I should maybe revisit this year, because I really don't remember it all that well, but I do remember it being part of my childhood. So go check out Prancer if you never have. And the last thing on here is one that a lot of people, unless you're around my age, might not know. This was not a movie. This was just a TV special, and it was called, I got it written here, I'll make sure I got it right. I believe it was called the Claymation Christmas Celebration. And what it was is it was a little 20-minute claymation. It was like a little show, and it had all these different like little skits of claymation where they basically would sing songs, and it was hosted by a dinosaur. And like, I think it might have been a couple of dinosaurs, and there was all claymation, and it had the California Raisins. They were the ones that I remember the most, and they came out and would sing. Some of you might not even know who the California Raisins are. I don't know how old most of my audience is, but there was the California Raisins, and I remember that one the most. And then there was a bunch of bells, and kind of like a Quasimodo Hunchback of Notre Dame type conductor. And I remember he was conducting the Carol of the Bells, and the bells would hit the thing on their head, and there was one bell that wasn't the brightest bulb on the tree, and he could never quite seem to get it figured out or hit his bell at the right time, and just corny, weird, goofy stuff. But that was a special that I remember watching for a few years, and yeah, you can maybe find it. I haven't really looked. I know it does have a DVD release. You might find it on YouTube. I know there's clips on YouTube. But yeah, I believe it's called the Claymation Christmas Celebration. I'm sure when I edit this, I'll probably put a picture up of all of these, like the poster, and we'll see what it's actually called. But yeah, that's going to be it for the stuff that I don't have on actual physical media, guys. Now, let's delve in and let's get going, because we're at almost 10 minutes, I think. So let's get going. We'll bust through these really quick. And the first one on the list is, of course, Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. I remember when I first saw Home Alone, I remember seeing it in the theater. I also remember seeing Home Alone 2 in the theater. I absolutely loved it. And then I remember the VHS release coming out. I remember being in like the grocery stores. I think it was like the following Christmas. And it came out on VHS. And I remember seeing the like shippers, like the Home Alone shippers in the store. And if I recall, it was fairly expensive when VHSs first started coming out in the early 90s. But I remember going to like Blockbuster too when that came out, and they had like 50 copies of it, and one whole wall was just Home Alone. And yeah, I mean, I like the first one better than the second one, but they're both still just classic films. Just, I mean, if you haven't seen Home Alone by now, I mean, go see Home Alone. I mean, you got to. But yeah, this was definitely a staple around our house for many, many Christmases. Next up is a movie that just got a 4K release this year. I did a review on it, and this is my all-time favorite Christmas movie. And you can already see it right here. I don't even have to tell you what it is. Bam! Of course, it is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Not only is this my favorite Christmas movie of all time, but this is probably my favorite vacation movie of all time. It's probably my favorite Chevy Chase movie of all time. Definitely my favorite Beverly D'Angelo movie of all time. But yeah, this movie is fantastic. Clark just wants to have a good old family fashion Christmas. Has the family there. It's got all the hijinks and all the jokes and the slapstick that National Lampoon can dish out. And definitely well worth your time if you have never seen it. Do yourself a favor if you haven't and go see National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This was a staple. I saw in the theater. I watched it multiple times growing up. Never gets old. I watched it this year. Still laughed my ass off. Great movie. Next, we're moving on to A Christmas Story. This is another one that got a 4K release this year. Now, this is a movie that, I'll be honest with you, growing up, I mean, I liked it, but I felt like it was overrun. I mean, on TBS, they played for 24 hours straight. I think they might even played for like, no, it was 24 hours straight. It wasn't more than 24 hours. But, you know, I kind of got a little sick of it. I really didn't even watch it that much when I was a kid. It was just always kind of on. And it wasn't until the last couple of years that I sat down and just watched it all the way through and really, really did start to appreciate it. This is a great movie. Bob Clark, I've said this before, is a very underrated director. I'm delving more deeper into some of his other stuff, and he does a lot of horror films. This is like one of the only ones that he did that I believe was not a horror film. He also did Black Christmas, which I have right here. It's right here. Also got a 4K release this year. Fantastic horror movie. But yeah, this one is great. It's just a fun... It's got the old, it's just a fun old-fashioned Christmas, It's a good time. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Next, we're delving into kind of more of the horror genre a little bit, but not really. And this isn't really one that's really... I mean, I guess it's a Christmas movie. Some people would argue that it's not, but I'm talking about Gremlins. Now, this movie, I mean, it is a Christmas movie. It does take place at Christmas. But the movie's not really about Christmas. It's about these little guys mutating and wreaking havoc upon a town. And it just happens to take place at Christmas. So it is a Christmas movie, but it's not really about Christmas. But this was one that I just remember, like, this was one of the ones, like I said before, I was talking about how I wouldn't even watch the whole thing. It was just on in the background. And this is another one of these movies, and I just always remembered a lot of like the Christmas decorations and some of the Christmas music and this and that. So like I said, I always remember it like being on, but I would never really sit down and watch the whole thing. But it was always on around the holidays, like just in the background, and I'd catch little bits here and there. So this movie is very nostalgic. It wasn't quite a few years later that I actually sat down and watched the whole thing, but I do remember always catching some of the Christmas scenes in this, and it's very nostalgic for me. This is a great movie, by the way. Steven Spielberg. I can't even remember if he actually directed it. He presented it. I can't remember who directed it. I should probably know that. It's kind of embarrassing that I don't. I can't remember if he did. I can't remember who did it. But, yeah, Gremlins. Great movie. Check it out. Next, we're delving into some more slapstick-style comedy. A little corny. A lot corny. But it's a lot of fun. And I actually just watched this again today for the first time in probably about 4 or 5 years. And, it was pretty much what I remembered. And I'm talking about Jim Varney in Ernest Saves Christmas. This is just a DVD release. This came out in the late 80s, 87, maybe 88, somewhere around there. And it's exactly what it is. Santa Claus needs to retire, so he comes into Orlando, Florida, in search of a guy that he thinks is best fitting. And, of course, Ernest gets tied in there, and Ernest tries to save Christmas when things go awry, and his Christmas spirit really helps with doing that. It's goofy. It's weird. If you've never seen an Ernest movie before, I mean, I don't know. Check out an Ernest movie, and this would be a good one to start with. It's fine. Some of them are a little bit out there, but this would be a good one to start with, and it's a little charming. It's heartwarming. Yeah, it's fun, but don't expect it to be anything that great. But very nostalgic for me. I remember watching this one a lot as a kid. So, yeah, Ernest Saves Christmas. Check it out. Next film, this just got a MVD Rewind Collection release. This movie is not really a Christmas movie. In fact, it was released, I believe, in January, but I remember seeing it as a kid. And I'd always see it on, like, late night, like, USA. They would always be playing this. And it's always seemed to, I was always watching it around Christmas time. So it reminds me of Christmas, and it does take place in the winter, and there are Christmas decorations in the movie, and when they go to the bar, it's decorated up for Christmas. So it takes place around Christmas, even though it is about a ski patrol, and it's the movie Ski Patrol. Yeah, like I said, it's not really much of a Christmas movie, but I do remember watching it a lot around Christmas, and the movie does take place around Christmas. In fact, I believe they go to 1 or 2 Christmas parties. So it takes place around it, but it really is about the hijinks and the goofiness of the ski patrol. It doesn't really have anything to do with Christmas, just takes place at it, but still a lot of fun. And only like PG, so the whole family can enjoy it. Yeah, check it out. All right, guys, we're down to the last 2. This next one is one that is a staple almost every Christmas. I don't think... It's been a while since I skipped watching this one, partially just because it's so short. You can just put it in there. But it's a Charlie Brown Christmas. And I love this. I picked this up last year from Target. I love the little snow globe on there. And this one is just great. I believe this came out in like the late 60s, maybe. 1965, it looks like. And I love the music. I love the color. And I've always been a Peanuts fan. Charlie Schultz, he's from Minnesota. He's either from Minnesota or else he lived here for a long time. So you got to support that, those local people, you know. But yeah, I just love it. I love the fact that his Christmas tree is this dinky little, small little thing, and it's just fun. I love the Peanuts. Yeah, definitely check this out. If you've never seen it, it's really good. Another one that's really good too, as long as we're talking about it, is this one right here. This one is also, it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. As long as we're talking Peanuts, we'll throw in that Halloween one. That one was my favorite for the longest time. And it's still really, really good, and I like it. But I'll be honest with you, I think a Charlie Brown Christmas might be my favorite. It's just a lot of fun, and it's super short. You can just throw it in and have a good time with it. The music's cool. The humor's good. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. All right, guys, we have reached the last one. And the last one comes in a big old box set that has like 6 or 8 movies in it. And the last one, of course, I got to end it with this one, is The Muppet Christmas Carol, which is down there in the bottom on here. This came in this Muppets box set. But yeah, guys, this movie is fantastic. I can't imagine there's plenty people out there watching this video who have not seen this movie. But it's just good. It's a great story. I love A Christmas Carol. I think it's a great story. I think it's a great message. And the fact that they can bring it in with great music, very catchy music, and a lot of humor is just awesome. For my money, it doesn't get better than A Muppet Christmas Carol. This is my favorite Muppet movie. It's one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. I'd say it's probably right behind Christmas Vacation. And yeah, it's just awesome. Definitely check it out. It's touching, heartwarming, and so funny. It is so funny. I love it. And I haven't watched it yet this year, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to do that real soon. All right, guys. Well, I actually have one more that I completely forgot about. And I don't actually own it on physical media. But this is one that I didn't watch as much as some of those other ones, but it is one that I did watch. And I actually, when I was doing the Muppet thing, just thought of it. But Bill Murray in Scrooged. If you've never seen Scrooged, it's another one of those. It's another take on A Christmas Carol with Bill Murray. And it's just a lot of fun. So that's kind of like an honorable mention within this list. Definitely check it out. That's a lot of fun too. It's really, really funny. Bill Murray's fantastic as always, and definitely worth your time. It's got Bobcat Goldthwait in it. I think that's how you say his name. He's in it, and Bill Murray's in it, and yeah, it's great. It's a great version of A Christmas Carol. Not as good as the Muppets, but you know, still good. A little bit raunchier, but still good. All right, guys, well, that's all I got for you today. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Let me know you guys like what I'm doing. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know down below in the comments, guys. Are any of these your favorites? Have you seen these? Have you not seen these? Throw in some of the ones that you watched when you were kids. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something I completely forgot about. I love talking about this stuff, guys. Leave it in the comments below. Let's continue the conversation. All right, guys, happy holidays, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are amazing. I appreciate every one of you, and thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.